5 goes this side. What was 5? It jumps the equal sign. It was positive, it will become negative. At the same time, 2, which is a number, goes this side. It jumps, it was positive, it will become negative. If you don't see a sign here, it means there is a positive before the number. Alright, so let's do it at the same time. So already on the left hand side we have minus 3n, so it doesn't have to do any change of sign. But 5 joined, so it will become what? Positive 2, negative 5n. See that? Is equal to 12 is already on the right hand side. So no change of sign, but 2 became what? Minus 2. Then, as I said, rely on the calculator here. Test with the calculator. What is minus 3n minus 5n? If you see minus 3 minus 5, it's same as saying 3 plus 5. You add but keep the sign. Alright, so it's negative 8, but test it with the calculator. There it is, minus 3 minus 5. Hello, our most valued student. My name is Confident and welcome to the ultimate guide to mathematics for grade 9, and we are looking at the new topic, and it is algebraic equations. And if you're joining us for the first time, we have already looked at algebraic expressions, but to show you what we are on, this is the lesson that we're focusing on. So for those of you guys who are following us, you understand that we are coming from quite a number of videos, and it is a lot that we did. For example, we have already done this lesson where we are looking at factorizing of a trinomial. We're looking at the product sum method. We just did quite a lot of stuff, and then we looked at this kind of what? Factorization, difference of two squares. We looked at factorization by grouping. So there's quite a lot of videos here, factorization of brackets here, but we looked at quite a number of stuff. But the key one that started getting a little bit trickier is for you to look at the factorization of a trinomial. We factorize this, you see, different formats. We did them in the previous lesson, and as you can see, I put my NP, I was looking at the product sum. This was what we did, but now I don't want to dwell much on what we did previously because you have a chance of going through those videos. Let's look at the equations, algebraic equations. This is an introduction. It's not going to take long. This is what we're focusing on. In the next lesson, we will focus on this. So let's get this started and get done over with. Let me put an introduction, by the way. Look at it. If I say to you, you have got 2x plus 6, and then I say to you, you have got here 2x plus 6. Let me say here equal to 0. Let's look at this. What's the difference between the two? What do you think? What do you think is the difference between 2x plus 6 and 2x plus 6? Yes, if you say it, it is fine. This is called an what? An equation. Why? Because there is the left hand side, then the equal sign, then there is the right hand side. So we call this an equation. Then you can solve here for x. Alright, that's what it means. But what about the next one? This one is called an algebraic expression. Alright, you can't do anything here, but you can only factorize here. No solving for x. No solving for x. So you find students wanting to solve for x here. So for this, it's finished. It's done. You can only factorize. Nothing else. You can. The question here, they will say simplify here. Those are the questions you get. Simplify meaning factorize. It's an expression, guys. You cannot solve for x. You can only factorize, but there is only no left hand side, no right hand side, because it's just an expression. Then this one becomes an equation where you solve for x. So let's solve for x. 2x plus 6 equal to 0. When you're solving for x now, be careful. There is what is called an equal sign. Remember, left hand side, right hand side. When things moved from left hand side to the right hand side, they change signs. For example, 6 will leave what? Left hand side. What was the sign for 6? It was positive. It jumps the equal sign, positive becomes negative. So you'll have now 2x is equal to what? From positive 6, it will be negative 6. You see how it is. Now the next thing that you need to know is, if I have 2x, it means you've got 2 dot mean times x is equal to minus 6. That's what it means. That dot, what is the opposite of multiplication? Let me take you further. What was the opposite of positive? It was minus after the sign. Same thing here, because of the equal sign. What is the positive of multiplication? It's division. If positive goes with negative, multiplication goes with division. So you divide by 2 on both sides. You see now why we divide by 2, because it's the opposite of this times here. So when you do that, that's how the 2 goes. Don't say 2 goes to the other side. It cannot separate from x because it is like a glue. The only thing you can separate 2 and x is by division. So what you do on the left though, you do on the right. That's why we divided by 2, divided by 2. Then you are left with x here is equal to 2 goes into 6 3 times. But don't forget it's minus 3. Alright, that's how you solve this. Difficult? I don't know. Easy? I don't know. But possible? Yes, of course. So let's look at this. Okay, I just need to get this done. That was an introduction, but let's get this in the right way now. 5x, look at this, 5x plus 7 is equal to 6x minus 3. Which one am I doing? I'm looking at this guy now. Alright, let's solve for what? Let's solve for x here. What do? Same thing. Here, first things first, I can say that there's an equal sign, then I can do what is called collect what? Like terms. That's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to collect like terms. So if I'm going to be collecting like terms, let's put on top there. Let's collect the like terms. Focus on x. See, I've got x, I've got x. Since I'm going to collect like terms, it's up to you how you want to go about. Most of the time, x goes to the left. But now, you see, 5 is on the left hand side, 6 is on the right hand side. So the bigger number is on the right hand side. So sometimes it's good to take the smaller one to join the bigger one. What was this sign? If you don't see any sign here, it means there is a positive sign. So it's positive, it jumps the equal sign, becomes what? Negative. Do you see how it's happening? That is the first part. Let's look at the other one. 7 is this side. So there is no way now I can take 7 to the other side. Since what we did, we took, let me erase here. Let me erase this. Since we took x from what? From left to right. So which means the other one, 3 must go the other way around. From right to left. So it's also going to jump. What is the sign for 3? It's negative. When it jumps, it becomes positive. So now let's consolidate this. What did we say? Let's start again. Number 1 was here and number 2 was there. Let's start with number 1. Number 1, we say the 5x will join the 6. So how do I write it? So look at it. Equal to 6x. 6 will remain as is, but the 5 we said positive negative, so that's why it became minus 5x. That's what happened on the right hand side. But what about on the left hand side? We said 7 remained, so 7 was there, but joined by 3, which was negative, now became positive 3. Do you see what's happening? Now you can conclude and say 7 plus 3, it's 10, is equal to 6x minus 5x. Don't worry, it's just 6 minus 5. Focus on those numbers. 6 minus 5, it's 1. 1x. So what is x? If it's 1, it's 1. So it means x is equal to 10. Then you can say therefore x is equal to 10. By the way, don't forget you can test this. You can test this. Usually it's good to test it in the original. You can test it in the original. Remember, it said what? X is equal to 10 here. Right? So what you do, where there is x here, you put 10. Where there is x, you put 10. Are you with me? So where there is x, you put what? 10. Where there is x, you put 10. So what do you think it would be like? It's like you'll be having 5x, put a bracket. That's how you substitute. 5, 10 plus 7 is equal to 6 bracket 10 minus 3. So you check the left hand side, you check the right hand side. They must be equal. So let's do this. What is 5x plus 7? Let's use the calculator and see what it is going to give us. Alright. Okay, sorry about the 2 there. Let me take off this one. Let's look at 5x plus 7. So it's 5 brackets 10 plus 7. What am I getting? 57 on the left hand side. What about 6 bracket 10 minus 3? See, 57 again. So you see, 57 left hand side, 57 right hand side. It means the answer for x is equal to 10 is correct. Not this one. This one was not part of this. Do you see that? So that's how you work on this thing, guys. So now let's remove, I think it was left out when I was doing this whole thing here also. Let's check. See, that's how. Okay. Now moving on to the next one. So we are done with this one. So you the concept won't change. Collecting like terms is very important. All right. Let's move on to the next one. It says 6 minus 4x is equal to minus 5x what? Minus 2. Now just pay attention again. We are using the same concept. Always test your answers here. We collect like terms. Okay, for out of interest, let's say you are comfortable in making the letters variables go to the left hand side. So we can do the same. Let this 5 goes here. What is the sign? Negative. It jumps the equal sign, becomes positive. But don't forget, don't do things one step at a time. The moment x goes this side, 6 can also go the other side to join 2. What was 6? Positive. There it's negative. So with that, see, as I say, the sign is important. So let's look at it. Now we said it is going to be minus 4x. What happened to the negative 5? It became positive 5x, you see. At the same time, focus on the numbers. Look at 6 and 2. 2 is already negative 2 because it is going to stay there, but 6 will join 2. So when 6 joins 2, remember 6 was positive, it becomes negative 6. Do you see how this thing goes about? Now, you can look at the calculator now. It says minus 4x plus 5. So it's more like saying 5 minus 4, which is 1. But test with the calculator. Don't just guess it out. So say minus 4 plus 5. These are common terms. It's 1. So this is 1x. You can just write as 1x is equal to, then you've got what? Minus 2 minus 6. Remember, minus 2 minus 6, you add and maintain the sign, which is negative 8. But always check with the calculator. Minus 2 minus 6 is the same as saying 2 plus 6, which is 8, but you maintain the sign, which is what? Minus 8. So you see this one, you can forget about this one. So it simply means x is equal to what? Negative 8. That's where now what we say is you can test now to say if you put here that bracket, you put minus 8 here, here you put minus 8. Alright, so let's go to the original here. What if you made an error when you're writing? But now from here you check your left hand side, you check your right hand side. So let's do that and see what it gives. If we say 6 minus 4 bracket, where there is x, we put minus 8. What answer do we get? 38. Left hand side 38. We do the right hand side and see if we get 38. Minus 5 bracket minus 8, where there is x, minus 2. We must get what? 38. There it is. So left hand side equal to right hand side. It means our answer is correct. Alright. That's how we work on this thing. So it's not really complicated. You just need to know what you're doing. Alright, next one. If we look at this one, which is 2 minus 3n is equal to 12 plus 5n. You see, it's a question also that says solve for what? Solve for the unknown, the n here. Same thing, guys. I said, let's say you are comfortable with taking anything to do with letters to the left. So look what we're going to do. We're going to do the same thing. 5 goes this side. What was 5? It jumps the equal sign. It was positive, it will become negative. At the same time, 2, which is a number, goes this side. It jumps, it was positive, it will become negative. If you don't see a sign here, it means there is a positive before the number. Alright, so let's do it at the same time. So already on the left hand side we have minus 3n, so it doesn't have to do any change of sign. But 5 joined, so it will become what? Positive 2, negative 5n. See that? Is equal to 12 is already on the right hand side. So no change of sign, but 2 became what? Minus 2. Then, as I said, rely on the calculator here. Test with the calculator. What is minus 3n minus 5n? If you see minus 3 minus 5, it's same as saying 3 plus 5. You add but keep the sign. Alright, so it's negative 8, but test it with the calculator. There it is, minus 3 minus 5, it's minus 8. What about 12 minus 2? 12 minus 2 is what? It's 10. So here is minus 8n is equal to 10. Now, look at this. Very important. It says minus 8n. What separates 8 and n? There is a dot, meaning there is a multiplication here. There is a multiplication. So in other ways, it's as good as saying I have got minus 8 and then it's times and then it's what? N. See? Is equal to 10. That's what it means. Now, what is the opposite of multiplication? It's division. Just like the opposite of plus is minus. See, plus to minus. So it means multiplication is also division. That's why we divide by what we don't want. We don't want that. So we divide by negative 8. But what you do on the left, you do on the right. That's how that goes. Do you see that? Then from here, we can say n is equal to, then you take a calculator, 10 over 8, negative 8, it will give you 5, negative 5 over 4. Alright, you can test this again. Remember, come here where there is n, you put what? Negative 5 over 4 on the left hand side, negative 5 over 4 on the right hand side. It must always balance. Let's do that. 2 minus 3 and then bracket negative fraction 5 over 4. What are we getting? Equal to 23 over 4. Don't forget that fraction. Let's try the other side. 12 plus 5 bracket negative 5 over 4. That one was 23 over what? Over 4. There it is. Left hand side, it doesn't matter whether it looks funny, but the answer will always remain the what? The answer. Things will always balance out. So don't wait for like it must look special of some sort. No. Fractions ones. Let's look at this one. It's a very important one now. 1 over 2x plus 6 is equal to minus 2. What do you think of this one? 1 over 2x, this is equal to minus 2. Is it difficult? Not really. Actually, it's much simpler. Look, there is only one set of x. So there is no reason to be looking for x any other place. It's only the number that must join the other number. So here, you see that 6 goes and join 2. Cross the equal sign. It was positive, it will become negative. So what do we have? We have got 1 over 2x. See that is equal to, leave minus 2 already on the other side, but 6 is the one that became negative now. So we've got 1 over 2x is equal to, take a calculator, but as I told you, how do you work this out? It's more like you're saying minus 2 plus minus 6. If both of them are negative, you add 2 plus 6 is 8, but keep the sign. So it's minus 8, but test with the calculator. Do it now. Go and test with the calculator. Now, I want you to check what happens at this stage. Now, let me do this. If I say to you, pay attention now. If I say to you A over BX is equal to C, I just want to show you what to do next time. Alright, let me not say A over B. Let me say, first of all, 1 over B. To get rid of B, you what? You multiply by B over 1. Here also what you do on the left, you say B over 1. What you do on the left, you do on the right. You see, there is B over 1, there is B over 1. Are you seeing that? So from there, that's how that B will go off. Then you'll be left with X is equal to C times B. So that's what we're going to do here. Same way, you can see that here what do I have? I've got 1 over 2, so I'm going to multiply by 2 over 1. You invert. 2 goes to the top, 1 goes to the bottom. But what we do on the left, we do on the right. 2 over 1. That is how that 2 goes. Then we are left with 1x, which is x is equal to minus 8 times 2 is negative 16. Alright, I just want to show you also, if I was having A over BX is equal to C, how do I simplify this? You multiply by the inverse. What do? You multiply by B over A. You see, A over B, B over A. But what you do on the left, you do on the right, B over A. So this means, you see, it's the same thing whereby if I do what on the left hand side, what I do on the right hand side, it's still balanced. But the reason is I wanted to cancel that A, I wanted to cancel that B. Then you are left with your X this side is equal to, when you are having it like that, it's B as in alphabetical order times C over A. Do you see that? That's what it means. Alright, but if a question comes, I'm going to demonstrate this further. But now here the answer was what? X is minus 16. You come here, where there is X, you put what? Negative 16. Let's do that with the calculator. It must give us negative 2 on the right hand side. Look at this. If I say 1 over 2 and then put a bracket and then say negative 16 plus 6, negative 16, I was supposed to close this bracket, plus 6 equal to what? Negative 2. Do you see what I mean by that? Left hand side equal to right hand side. Okay, so that is how you do or go about working this out. Okay, let's finish up our lesson here. Just a few left, and then that will be done. Look at this one. It's almost there. It's almost there. Just hanging there. It says 2x plus 3 over 2 is equal to minus 4. You see, how do you work this out? How do you work this out? How do you approach this one? It's not complicated. Now, careful. NB. Be careful. I'm making it in red. NB. Don't do it. And it's a no, 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 no. Don't do this. And then after that, you're saying x plus 3 equal to minus 4. That's a big, that's dangerous. Very dangerous of you. See? Let me write it again. Dangerous. You are dangerous by doing this. You are telling me you are very dangerous. You know, okay, it's suicidal of you to do that. Okay, don't do it. Let me just reiterate. Let me take it back. Don't do it. You cannot cancel that too. What do you need to do? Because of this plus, it means, actually this thing means this. This is what this thing means. It means 2x over 2 plus 3 over 2 is equal to minus 4, the distributive law, you see. So that 2, then if you wanted to cancel it, you could have cancelled it now here. That's now fine. So you see, you will have x, but look at it, plus 3 over 2, you see, is equal to minus 4. Guess what? We can solve it even like this. Let's solve it. Now, it's separate now. Take this to the other side. You will have x is equal to, it crossed the equal sign from positive to negative. Do you see that? So what will be our x? Our x then will be equal to minus 4 minus 3 over 2. See that? Then you get the answer. That is actually it's a proper method. Minus 3 over 2. I didn't want to do it like this, but I'll show you. It's negative 11 over 2. You can test it. I'm not going to test it, but I'll test it with the second method to see if it's the same. So this is the way you could have done it. Or this is how I was going or approaching this problem. It is what, by the way? 2x plus 3 over 2 is equal to minus 4, right? I was going through it this way to say, whenever you're given it like that, I prefer, since it was fraction and a number, see, this must be like one thing. Otherwise, this is the best way to do it. I prefer this way then. This is just one thing, so I can focus on getting rid of that. So what do? You can simple multiply by 2 over 1. Remember that part. But what you do on the left, 2 over 1. Do on the right. That's how this goes. See that? Then what do you have? You can now write 2x plus 3 is equal to, now it's minus 4 times 2, which is negative 8. Check with the calculator. That's negative 8. Then at this stage, there is 3. It can jump the equal sign from positive to negative to join 8. So what do we have? 2x is equal to negative 8 and what? Minus 3. So 2x is equal to, you remember, you add and keep the sign, but check it with the calculator. 8 plus 3 is 11, but the sign there is negative 11. And then I told you 2 and x are multiplying. It's not possible to do this. And then you say positive, negative. No, you can't do that. You can only divide by 2 when it's multiplying. You divide by 2. There it is. X is equal to minus 11 over 2. That becomes our answer. Let's compare with the previous one. There it is. See? X is negative 11 over 2. X is negative 11 over 2. You can test it. I'm not going to test it in the sense that I'm using, I did it both sides it balanced. Look at the next one. Almost finishing now. It's 3 minus 4x over 2 is equal to minus 3x. You see, same thing here. It's up to you how you want to do it. You can take it the other route that I did. Can you do the two versions? Yes. These two, as I said, these two affects that and affects that. So what you're gonna write here is 3 over 2, then you put minus, and then you've got 4x over 2 is equal to minus 3x. I feel this is much proper for me. Then divide by 2 there into 4. It's a factor there. It's 2. So what we have? We have got 3 over 2 minus 2x is equal to minus 3x. So already you can see that x is on the right hand side more than, you see, the left hand side is mixed up. So to avoid things crossing and crossing, it's easier for you to just take this to join the other friend. What is the sign of 2x? It's negative. It crosses, it becomes positive. Do you see how it becomes easier there? Then what you're going to have? You're going to have here 3 over 2, the number will remain this side, is equal to minus 3x. And then it's what? plus 2x. Do you see what's happening there? And then take a calculator if you're confusing yourself. Minus 3 plus 2, what is it? The bigger number is negative. So if a negative and a positive is more saying 2 minus 3. So it is going to be minus 1 in this case, okay? So, but if you're confusing yourself, take a calculator and then say negative 3 plus 2, you get what? Negative 1. Don't ignore it. Negative 1x. Especially when it's negative, don't ignore it. The right hand side is negative 1x. The left hand side is remaining as is. But how do you separate it? Don't forget, there is a multiplication there. Then what we don't want is this. Don't take it for granted. Then you divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. Cancel, cancel. Then you'll have your x here. Take a calculator if it's confusing, but the answer is simple, negative 3 over 2. Since you're dividing by 1, negative is powerful, it's just a negative 3 over 2. You can take a calculator and then test your answer to see if ever what you're writing is correct. So we are saying here 3 over 2. Okay, I suppose I can say divided by negative 1. It is negative 3 over 2. Alright, so that's how this whole thing goes about. Alright, and it's in a way kind of wraps up our lesson. Nothing much left except one more. I think one more. There it is. It says what? Here, wrapping it up, it's minus a plus 3 over a is equal to negative 1. So this is the wrapping up of these equations. What do you think? Difficult? Not really. Same thing what we did like previously. When you see that a, you at this stage, okay, let's I think at this stage, I think yes, NB. Okay, I say NB. Avoid it now. If I use this and say minus a over a, all right, and then I say what? Plus 3 over a is equal to minus 1. I think it's not gonna be much. It's not favored. If a is at the bottom, let's not do this. Actually, let's do it the other way around. I'm not gonna cancel it. If we're having minus a plus 3 over a is equal to minus 1, remember when a or whatever you want, what the unknown, if it's at the bottom, the best is to use that other version. What was the other version? You multiply by a over 1. You multiply by a over 1. So that is how it simple goes. What you do on the left, you do on the right. Alright, so now you have minus a plus 3 is equal to negative 1 times a is negative a. Alright, I think this one was not done also properly because it will be minus a. Now a goes this side, negative, positive, plus a, see that one, is equal, actually let me do it the other way around. Let's do it the other way around. Negative a goes this way. It was negative, it becomes positive. So you're left with 3 is equal to minus a plus a. But minus a plus a is 0. So here 3 is equal to 0. So there is no solution here. So this was kind of an error question, this one. You know, it was not properly done. I think there was an error there. But that is the way you can deal with that. Alright, so guys, we've come to the end of our lesson. I hope this was insightful, this was beneficial. So by the way, there is no solution here, you might ask, and then you must come here and say no solution. Alright, but as I said, become a part of us. Ensure that you're subscribed to this channel because we want to assist. I want to personally tutor you. I want to personally journey with you in your journey of math as you progress in your career, I have you in mind. So make sure that you follow up. There is another lesson coming, and it is involving this. Join me in the next lesson. Thank you.